The next word, wiwialha. So it starts off with a W, which is a rounded sound. So we're rounding our lips here. And this isn't a regular W. It has an apostrophe over top of it. And we don't really hear much difference between this and a regular W at the beginning of a word. But we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So we have W. The next letter is I. So I makes an E sound. So we have we. Next we have another W. So again, this is a W that has an apostrophe over it. So what makes this different than a regular W is that this apostrophe acts as a glottal stop. So basically this is your glottis here. The glottis is the opening between your vocal cords. So with the glottal stop, what you're doing is you're closing your glottis. So basically you're kind of holding your breath and then you're letting the air out. So what this tells us is that you're closing your glottis before this rounded W. So we start off with the rounded W at the start of the word, then we have an E. So what this tells us is that we're saying the first two letters first, and then we're kind of stopping, we're holding our glottis closed and then letting the air out. So we're going wiwialha. So it comes out as a glottalized W. So we don't really hear it with this first W because it's at the start of the word, but we definitely hear it here. There's kind of a pause between the first two letters and then the third one. Next letter is an A. So A is just like a regular A, making an ah sound. Next we have what's called a barred L. There's different ways of writing a barred L. Some of them have a straight line going through it. Kind of looks like a T. Sometimes you see a wavy line. This is called a tilde. So technically this would be called a tilted L. And this is what's called a lateral sound. So lateral means to the side. So what we're doing is we're taking the tip of our tongue, pressing it up against our alveolar ridge here, and then letting the air come out around the sides of our tongue. So we keep our tongue up against our alveolar ridge, and we kind of force the air out around the sides of our tongue. So we're making a sound. This L is also sometimes called a slurpy L because of the sound that it makes. It makes kind of a slurpy noise, like. So we're saying wiwialha. And then the last A is like a regular A and highs like yalla, making kind of an sound. So the way we spell wiwialha is we have a W with an apostrophe over top of it, an I with a little slanted line, another W with an apostrophe. This time we have an I, which is just a regular dot over top of it, an A, a barred L, then we end with another A. So we can separate this into syllables to make it a little bit easier to understand. So this is an apostrophe. Over top of the W. Whenever you see an apostrophe, it will only be over top of consonants. And what this tells us is that this is a glottal stop. It has different purposes, but in this case, with the W, it acts as a glottal stop. Then we have I, which makes an E sound. E. Then we have an accent. So we're raising the pitch of this first syllable. So we're saying wiwialha. There's more emphasis on this first syllable. Wiwialha. Here we have another apostrophe. And it's over top of the W. So this acts as a glottal stop. So what we're doing is, this is telling us that we're closing our glottis before we say the W. So we say this first syllable, and then we stop. So we're saying wiwialha. Wiwialha. So that's the glottal stop. That's what tells us to stop there. This apostrophe over the W tells us to stop before we say the W. Then we have another E sound coming from an I. We have an sound coming from the A. We have this barred L or tilted L. Making a th sound. So we're saying wiwialha. Wiwialha. Then we have another sound at the end. Wiwialha. Wiwialha.